a uh, a great billiard teacher, a great mentor, has a long history with the game and tournaments, played in about 1,000 tournaments, and we're here to hear all about it. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Danny. Danny's invited me here to his home to kind of relate to a little bit of my past. Now, as we go along with this film, you're going to probably be disappointed because my life is as ordinary as anybody else's, but Dan has been kind of seeking me out and asking me to do this, and I'm only too glad, because if some of the things that I say and bring up from the past as to players or events or anything that takes place, it's because Danny brought it about. Okay. I really don't know where to start other than I'm a billiard player. I'm a purist at the game. And I like to make people very pure, especially people that I teach about the game. If they don't, I get angry because they don't follow the religion that the game of billiards is all about. Anyway, Danny, it's the 3rd of December. It's approximately 2 p.m. Now, what kind of questions did you want to ask me?
Well, I'd like to look at this chronologically. Maybe you can tell us what year you first became aware that the game existed, and then at what point you decided to take it up, and why you decided to take it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I can start way back in the late 30s and early 40s, just before the war. And I used to sneak into the pool rooms to shine shoes. And in order to make my 2 cents shine, the guys would have to sit down, and I'd be looking over a table and watching them play and so forth. And I first got involved in pool, though. And pool intrigued me, the ball going into the pocket. Not much science to that. And right next to the pool tables, there was 2 billiard tables, I remember, in this particular pool room at Taylor and Halsted. I was, as I try to remember, the fellows in the pool room kind of took a liking to me like they would to any kid. And they let me handle the balls and let me shoot around and so forth and so forth. And as I grew up, little by little, I started getting more interested. And I took an advantage of this. And there was 2 guys, Abuelita and Panchito. These 2 guys took a liking to me, and they started teaching me little by little straight rail and a little bit of the balk line at that time. And that was the beginning of my introduction into the game. And then it started going on, and of course I started getting more and more interested. Pardon me. I have a loose bridge. So, so if I don't speak too well, it's because of my bridge. Anyway, I started following events of old billiard players and listening to the guys saying there's going to be this event here and that event there. And I'd go to them and I'd sneak, and I'd sneak in because I didn't have either the money or anyway, I'd get to watch, and I'd watch from the background. And I saw some beginning fantastic things that I thought would, anyway, that's how it started out. And I saw things at Ben Singer's downtowns. I saw things at Frank Jenkins, at Wilson and Sheridan. bet you I went into maybe 30 of the top places that Chicago had then. Oh, I went in, looked around just like anybody else that's curious, and I got to meet a lot of good players. It was there was Pretty Boy Danny at Frank Jenkins' place at Wilson and Sheridan. There was Danny McGordy. He kind of frequented places like Wilson and Sheridan and Bensinger's. And I can go down the line. I saw most of these guys at a distance because I could never get close enough to them. But I admired them. Oh, Danny, I admired them, man. The things that they used to do and the things that, and the thing part of the world. I'm talking about Argentina, Spain. He never shared any of them with me. It seemed that somehow in them days, I was quite left out. And I can understand. Anyway, so, and it wasn't until later on in years that Ernie Presso started letting me into his, I started getting pretty good at billiards, and Ernie Presso started letting me in on his conversations, sharing dinners and sharing what and so forth. But for a long time, I admired these guys from a distance, Danny. And if I could really bring back pictures of what these guys were like, I'm talking about Moscone, I'm talking about Willie Hoppy and Chamaco. These guys I got to see at a distance with maybe occasionally a how do you do now and then, all right? And other than that, Danny, I don't know what else I can tell you, but that's how I got interested in the game. And of course today, I know how difficult it is to make three-cushion billiard, that when I see it shot dishonestly, by dishonestly I mean when I see it made 4 rails, or I see it made 5 rails, or I see it made on a backup, to me that's not a three-cushion shot. That's not the three-cushion billiard shot. Although, of course, that's me. And then there's the other type, the other big majority type that will say, well, I don't care how I got it as long as I got it. All right? And Bill Hawkins was one of those guys. He ran a 19 in Detroit to surpass Louis Campos. Campos had the high run of 17 out of Ray Abrams' place, who conducted some of the finest tournaments that this Chicago area will ever know. Pardon me, the United States will ever know, all right? And to me, Ray Abrams, of course, was the mecca of promoters, because he knew how to treat the little guy, the in-between guy, and he knew how to treat the major prima donnas. And I call them prima donnas because it seems like every time somebody gets to the top, they get to be prima donnas. They act like prima donnas instead of the in-between guys, instead of the little guys that they used to be. They get to be, well, I'm somebody now. I'm a this, that, and so forth, and I don't have time for you now, or I got to go with this guy because this guy can do me some good. Forget about our past friendships and stuff like that there. And they get that way, Danny, and I have but one guy, and that's because, of course, he was like my protege. I taught him some good habits. Tremendous stroke he had. And I'm talking about the great Louis Campos. And I used to take him to the tournaments, and I taught him how to calm his stroke down, taught him simple diamond angles and stuff like that there. And most of all, I taught him speed, because speed is the one. And what I couldn't do, he was able to do. When I told him, here's what I want you to do, he was able to do it. Although I couldn't do it anymore, or for some reason or another, my speed wasn't as good as his. He was a very sensitive guy with his hands. And he had a high run of 17. And we had some of the finest guys. I'm not talking about the prima donnas now. I'm talking about the in-between guys, and I'm talking about the little guys that make all the tournaments, the guys that want to be part of something that is going to be something in their lives. And the prima donnas even have a chance to overlook them, to shun them once they get to the top. And I think that's very wrong. But then, of course, that's the way I look at things, all right? How they behave, I can't control. Then we have, guys like Hawkins, the great Hawkins. You know him, don't you? Okay. Well, he ran a 19 in Detroit in the same room, Ray Abrams' place. And he made 7 very dishonest scoring shots to get the high run of 19. And of course, Bill and I got together several times, and we discuss it, and we laugh over it and so forth. And he says to me, he says, Joe, he says, I got my license plate that tells me I got the high run. I don't care, Joe, I got it. I says, you're right, Bill. I says, you only got 3 kisses to score in that 19, but you got 4 illegitimate backups that you shouldn't have made, all right? And that continued to run. He says, Joe, he says, you're too critical.
The runs you've made, the maybe some averages. You've
It was never because of my ability to be able to score. My defense was always a little bit greater than my scoring ability, so I always managed this. When you said average, my averages are, between 5 and at best 650, as far as averages are concerned. So no, I never really had any true ability. I've played some fantastic players, from the Bob Amins to the Kuhlmans of today, the Blumdahls of today, and I've gotten to almost winning conditions only because of my defense, not because of my scoring ability. So as much as I have studied the game, and I'll bet you I've put 25 years of serious study. I'm talking about serious